Hello everybody, the iLord Roots here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Prison Architect. Now, it's been a long time since I've played personally, and a lot of new features have come in. Features that have probably been in the game for ages now, but that I'm not entirely sure were in the game when I started this series. And because of that, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and start a new prison. So we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. I think one of the problems that we had was, and we'll just pause these guys here so we can plan this out, but one of the problems we had was that we tried to build too much at one time, and there's two ways we can deal with that. The first is that we can go up here to our prisoners and we can bring normal risk down. And then after we get ourselves a couple of grants here, so we will want a couple. We'll get a grant for basic detention administration. We'll begin building our our resulting stuff here. Now there's a planning tool rather, we can use, and I'm still not entirely used to the controls here. It has been a long time, but we're going to go ahead and begin building our administrative block. So we'll bring this guy up, and I'm going to start by making these 5 by 5 rooms that will house our administration stuff here. And so we'll just do that. And we're going to have 5 offices there as a result. I'm going to go ahead and set this up right here so that we can end up with a prison that has pretty much been locked down. And what we can do is, to prevent others from escaping, we can put these gates here on the road, because these trucks will no longer magically come through this area here. Now, of course, that means that we're going to want something in the way of garbage management. But I'm going to start by making a holding cell here. And what we can do is basically get ourselves a little shower going, because these guys will want to take a shower. And actually, well, I meant to do that, but we'll make the boundary here. And we will begin doing most of this by probably putting in a break room. That wouldn't be a bad thing to have, I wouldn't think. So we'll put one of those in. Can we fit more in the way of offices down here? It doesn't really look like it, but I will plan out some other stuff here. For instance, I do want to have a basic room for power facilities. And so that can go here. We could probably think of something to put up here, and then one more of these things here will maybe use this as a security room of some kind, maybe. Or we could put our power in here. I think our power would be better served in here though, because we'll have this guy here, and then we'll have on the other side, if this is where this guy is, we'll have our water here, and that would be good for us. Now note that this doesn't actually commit anything at the moment, but we do want to go ahead and get as much of the administration done as possible. Main reason for that being that, and in fact, this may not be the best thing to have here. I'm gonna take one of these offices here and convert it rather, into our power room. And I think what we'll do then, to maybe make this a little bit more flush with the edge here, is we will bring this guy in here. And this will be our administration area right here. We'll also want a canteen, and that can be done fairly easily, I imagine. What we'll do is we'll put this guy down about like so, and we'll put in a kitchen as well. And I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just we'll have ourselves a little bit of a corridor here. So we'll maybe have a kitchen and visitation down here. I question the wisdom of having visitation down here, but we'll find something to do with it, I'm sure. And so we're almost ready to go here. We just need to have, we need a yard. A yard would be good to have. So let's make another 13 by 13 area for the yard. And we'll put in, may make this part of the cell block here, because we will want to eventually build a cell block out. I think that'll be just fine if we do it like this. However, this will basically allow us to take a small number of prisoners with us, and we will be able to fit some people down here probably, although that is mighty cramped. You know what I'll do? I'll put solitary cells here. And the nice thing about solitary cells is that solitary confinement doesn't really take anything in the way of space. So if we happen to have any arguments which results in the loss of life or limb, which could happen, then we will be ready to deal with that. It may not be such a bad idea as well to begin working on a communal area as well. So we'll actually have, it looks like 7 of these cell blocks. And then that will happen for some strange reason. Probably because I screwed this up. So we'll have a canteen here, kitchen here, and entrance here maybe? I think that would make a good enough design for now. Let's take our foundations and let's place them. I don't really care which comes first. I just want one of these to go first. So this is our administration building. And this is more or less cell block A. Now prisoners may eventually try to escape from this, which would not be good. And we will have to think about that. What we want to do in the meantime is we want to go in and fence this off, because they can dig under fences, but it's a lot harder for them to dig under fences than just to walk under the map or off the map, which we don't want. That would certainly be quite bad. So I think this is a good start for us. And we will just maybe do a couple of things. I want to start out by putting down maybe some doors here. So we'll leave this as one of our main. Oh, and you know what I didn't do? I did waste a bit here. It does spend the money, even if, okay, we'll find a way to deal with that. I was kind of hoping for that to be my yard, but the money's already spent, so I don't know if, let's just see if when we plan this out a bit, if further planning will maybe allow us to deal with some of this. I think as long as we keep our cell blocks more or less in order here, we'll be fine. So good, that gives us 16 rooms that we can now utilize for whatever it is we want. And as for the yard, maybe I'll put the yard out here, and we will go ahead and take the time to lay down a little bit more in the way of foundation. I think that would be quite excellent, actually, if we did that. To give us a little bit of room to grow. Which is desperately needed. So we'll just, we do want to put in here, what is it, staff only doors. A staff only door is not a bad thing to have. That's about right where we need it. We can also take these guys here and we'll increase our deliveries area just a little bit. Same for our garbage area. Now these gates are going to be expensive that we have, but they're going to be worth it. These road gates that I'm going to put down. You see, this is what's going to keep us more or less locked down. And because we're locked down, this adds a degree of security to our fortress, or prison rather. I suppose it would be a fortress if it were a euphemism of some kind, but we'll get this going. And it says this requires an entrance. We will put an entrance up here and a jail door as an entrance here as well. And we'll let these guys have at it. Oh, and that reminds me too, I need to put down our power station. Power station would not be a bad thing to have. And I do feel as though water wouldn't be a bad thing to have either. So we'll put our water up, maybe up here somewhere. Because we can have really just one of these. And we'd have a bigger office for security purposes. So these guys, of course, are going to finish building this. And we are down just a little bit in terms of money. But we can very easily rectify some of this, because what we can do is we can begin building some of these walls, and we are getting money progressively as we begin to as we actually begin to work with this still. I'm going to set up a storage room as well. Now, it took me a little bit, and I probably should have thought about it, but it took me a little bit to figure out really where you would want to use the holding cells. I thought that the holding cells were sort of more for temporary stuff, which may be the case. It's basically your overflow. So we don't want to underdo it on our cells down here. And the name of the game here is efficiency. can see we finished our room here. I don't quite know what is up with this one because this one has a door on it. Let's just see. We would have almost been ready. Ready with this at least. We'll dismantle this door so that we have access. And they're probably just building the perimeter right now. And they're, of course, putting in all of the lights that are going in down here. Somebody is hopefully dismantling the door. Okay, I don't know quite what happened there, but whatever. Important thing we want to do here, of course, with our power station is we want to go ahead and take the time to make this something that will charge. And I'm going to go ahead while we're at it, and I'm going to begin work on the administration center because we do get a grant for that. We get a very nice grant to be precise. We'll just put the warden needs to be close by, so we'll put the warden down. And we will also put down a desk as well. And maybe some chairs. And filing cabinets. Even though we don't quite need this yet, we do want... Oh, that's the wrong one. We do want to go ahead and get our warden installed. So we'll give him this office here. And we'll get him working on getting our things going on now. So there's an important question we have to answer at this point. And that question is basically how we're going to take care of getting this set up properly. Now I've had this corridor here so that the staff tables or the feeding tables, and this may be just a general feeding area here, but I'll put it in so that the feeding tables are not overdone. This will break symmetry just a little bit, but it'll be worth it. We're gonna have a high volume area here, so I'm going I'm going to put this large door in. And we can totally sidestep anything that needs to be done here. Now I need to get the warden on finance almost immediately, because that's going to be important. I also need to begin routing some stuff here. Because without that routing, we could have a bit of a problem. And we don't want this to be easy for people to escape through. So I'm going to do something rather clever here, and I'm going to run the pipes down like this. And with any amount of luck, they should be able to get on down there just fine. We need to have at least, if nothing else, we need to get this electrical cable down here as well. We need to have a power mains come down through here so we can hook up what we need. And we'll wait for finance to finish on that. But at present, we do have a good start here. My thought is that we definitely want... This is a mistake I made last time. We want beds, for sure. We want a toilet as well. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw in a couple of benches down here so that these people can, you know, sit on down. But beds will be necessary or else we will get riots. Which is something we certainly do not want to have. Now we can handle, at this point, up to 10 prisoners. And with a toilet, and we'll get our staff down here, we want an accountant here as well that we're going to stick in here. She needs an office, which she will hopefully claim. And we just got grant money, which is awesome. That means we can begin two things. I'm going to make this, first of all, to where we have the planning of an extra grant. That's going to be the first thing. A loan might be good too. But while that's being researched, we want to go ahead and do, where is that? Here. Well, we have to wait on cell block A a bit. Let's get health and well-being as one of our deals here, because we'll have to eventually build things like a psych ward and stuff like that, because you know these guys are going to they're going to get depressed and start rioting, and that's not going to be good. It is prison and it's not a hotel, but the last thing you want is for these guys to riot. So what we'll do is we will place a phone booth here, a couple of them, in fact, because, and by a couple I mean four, because these guys are going to be, they're wanting to basically do their thing here. And I got that freezing from autosaving. Did we meet some kind of requirement? Well, we sure did, didn't we? I'm going to go ahead and begin cordoning off some of these rooms. This is going to be a, this is going to be a canteen, for sure. But I think I'll just make the rest of this a canteen. This is going to be a kitchen. And that's going to be interesting because that means these guys are going to try to walk on through here as though nothing has happened. Let's see what else we got. We need toilets, which should not be a problem for us, but let's just put some toilets over here so that these guys can poop. And what about their privacy, you might say? Well, some people are a little bit more humane, I suppose. I'm not one of them. I think that they definitely, they got themselves into this mess. They can, stand as hardened prisoners to poop wherever, in public. And so we'll begin our work on solitary confinement here. And maybe other things as well. Weights might be kinda nice. I'm hesitant to really put much else besides weights in there. How are we doing on grants? In fact, we need to get this warden researching something useful here. Let's get security. And that will allow us to get this guy here. We also want to go back here to objects. I'm going to put a drain here so that the water does not spill over. And we probably want to just go ahead and put a bunch of drains in here just in case. It's a shower head as well. And this should be good because this means that everybody before too long will end up getting stuff they need out of the holding cell. This is a reasonable thing to do. So we have a shower, a yard. What is missing on this holding cell? Enclosed, surrounded by walls and doors. Yes, we want a gel door here, and one here as well. This is actually shaping up to be a decent prison. What else do we have here? We got extra grant, bank loan, or land expansion. We could go with either one of those. Bank loan would probably be more useful in the long run. And I'm just going to begin real quickly walling these guys in. Now we need to do a couple of things here. One of them being we need to get a cooker and and some fridges going, and these do require direct power. So we'll add those in. And we need to hire some chefs. And this is where we're going to maybe not break even as much as I'd initially hoped. But we'll put down a door in both of these circumstances, and we'll want... The question is, do we get more out of this with 2 tables, or... I reckon we'll probably get a little bit more out of this if we stack these tables up like this. That's almost a perfect fit there. We'll need a serving table as well. So I'll just put down a couple of these because each can handle several food items, so we're already thinking about scalability here. And we'll definitely want to think about the still here. Now what's missing from here? Enclosed by... Okay, I see, accidentally, because I took out that wall, I think. That's why it's doing that. Because this is, unfortunately, set up in a way that makes the construction of this a little bit more difficult. And we're almost done here. I believe in another day we will be able to basically get these guys up and going. And we'll probably want to begin pretty soon getting ourselves, maybe let the waterworks go on this. What's the deal with the holding cell? The holding cell... Oh, you know why it's doing that? It's doing that because we have an open door here. And we're almost ready, I think. That will give us one more deal here. We can begin focusing on building a cell or two. Yeah, there we go. The shower is now ready, which basically means that I probably built that wall for nothing. No, don't dump the gel door. I didn't ask you to dump that. I asked you to dismantle that gel door and put it in its proper place. So we've got some advantages here. We've now got this guy more or less there we go. Just install that as you walk through the walls that you're not supposed to be walking through. What are we missing? We're missing 2 guards. We can handle that for sure. And that means we now have other things as well. I'm going to begin working on what happened there. I'm going to begin working on getting these guys set up so that they can we can at least get cells built. And I think I'm going to go ahead at this time and we'll accept minimum security prisoners. That'll be in 21 hours. I think we will have the time to deal with that. We don't want bureaucracy, we want this report deal. We want 2 more grants. We want cell block A. That'll be in progress, and prison maintenance or visitation rights. This one seems to be a little bit easier to make happen, so that's what we'll do. And that means we can begin getting these guys here building these prison cells so we can accept these guys here. And I'm just going to go through at the moment and I'm going to dismantle these lights here in a bit because they are a little bit troublesome. But I think this is a good start so far. We haven't had any prisoners come through, so I'm not entirely sure about that, but maybe we can add visitation somewhere down here. Let's just plan out what visitation might be like if we did that. Visitation, I imagine, would probably look a little something. I don't want to go 13 by 13. If I do, something's got to come out of it. I mean, I definitely think that a common room wouldn't be a bad idea, though. Well, yeah, we can do this for visitation. We'll let this be our visitation area on the right, and we'll let this be our common room. And this here will be an expansion to our cell blocks that we are now building. And we'll put another solitary up here and make it a bit easy to get down here. Or what about these guys here? Well, what I think I'm going to do down here is I'm going to begin building a shower, because as we're well aware, prisoners like to get naked with each other in public, which is why they don't mind, the door. That's very likely actually to get me, dismantle that light. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people like would probably repudiate that. But we'll get the lighting situation here figured out pretty quickly. And that will more or less get us going. And yeah, we do want a little bit in the way of lighting. We just want to reallocate the way that lighting is done. Also, this is something I ran into a little while back as well. That maybe we might want a break room as well. And this, I'm not quite sure what we'll do with this yet. We'll do something good with it though. We'll leave security in as part of this, I'm sure. Right, we'll do this. We'll make those guys rather flush with each other. And so let's see. We need to now begin thinking about getting some of these rooms going. Definitely the communal shower is going to be a big deal. I think we can very easily manage that part without very many problems. But we do want to set these guys up here so that our water mains is at least somewhat underground. And I think, we could go ahead and set up some other things as well. Maybe like some capacitors. We'll get maybe our foundations for these going down here. Maybe if we go down here and, well, we'll definitely want to bulldoze these walls. But we'll go down here and very slightly change the deal here. And of course, what we'll do then is we will throw in our bare necessities. We have at least 8 of these cells, which we will want. I'm gonna go for maybe even 16. And in that sense, we'll be able to deal with more in the way of prisoners. Where are our lights, by the way? Let's begin. We need to definitely work with the lighting some. I think that would definitely be a good idea for us. We'll also want to put some lights in over here as well. But yeah, we'll get this guy going. And we are actually doing pretty well on funding as well, which does surprise me just a little bit. Maybe while we're at it, we can figure out what might be the best orientation for a new cell block. Maybe something like this. We'll get another 8 out of that. But our prisoner capacity is definitely. No, what's. Oh, wait, yeah, they're building that foundation. And they're going to be working through the night to get that going. So we'll need to have no root. Why is there no root here? Oh, I know why there's no root. Because I did not lay down these pipes properly. In that case, I will just demolish some of these walls so they can begin putting the pipes back in. And we'll just put those walls back as best as we can. Our prisoner capacity is, at this point, pretty high. We can do a lot with what we've got right now. I mean, we can... I think it's safe to say that we can begin building some of these extensions. And we'll just keep them in the holding cell until they come, which is going to be soon. So, are they coming or not? It doesn't seem like they are, but surely they will. And we need to, you know what we need to do? We need to replace this wall. That was one I forgot about. Well, they are here in 5 seconds, so you'll get to see how this works. We're on day 4 so far. We've got our 4 prisoners, and this has brought our value up quite a bit. The reason we're going minimum security right now is because of the fact that going minimum security basically means that, where's visitation? Going minimum security essentially means that we're able to, we're able to reduce the number of problems that we're going to have in terms of, for instance, the people who like cause riots. These people generally you have to work really hard to get them to begin to riot. And so that's a good thing for us. We don't want these people throwing fits or whatever because some need of theirs rather is not met. And so you can see here that because we've got prisoners, and in fact we have some things we can research as well. I think it would be good for us to oh nice, this does give us more money. Clone is useful too though. We'll get grounds. Groundskeeping wouldn't be a bad deal to have. What else do we want? Health. We need health and mental health after that. So we can continue our expansion here. But basically what's going to happen is these guys are going to, oh, come on. Oh, wait, no, they can't. They've got staff doors. That's what it is. Maybe I should give them a staff door. They're going to the yard right now. It is a bit unfortunate that this is the only way in. if I can set up routes. And I'm going to try this, but if I can set up routes, what I can do is I can get these guys to, okay, it's always towards the back wall. I'll have to remember that. But what I can do is I can set these guys up to where they cannot come down the mains like that. Oh, come on, there's no. Oh, well, I guess there is no other route, is there? Just through that door there. But now what we can do is we can get our plumbing here. We'll get ourselves some toilets so that these guys can go to the potty. And when those are completed, we'll turn them into bona fide cells. Well, maybe. The part of the problem with that is that we need to get our shower going. And that's going to be a bit of an issue. I mean, not too much of an issue, of course. I think as long as we are reasonable about this, we can get a lot done with respect to that. And so our shower design is going to be very much like before, except that there's going to be walls in the center where we're going to have places that will catch the runoff. And what we'll do here is we will go through, and I'm going to put drains in each of the corners. This is a trick I saw in some other people's Let's Plays as well, to where you put a drain at the doorway, and then you can even put a drain in some other places as well. We'll take the shower out there. And we're putting in the investment right now because we have the money and we can deal with that. And these showers are cheap. There's no question about it. The showers are probably the cheapest thing we can do here. So we're still at least getting the toilets installed, but you know, these guys are out in the yard. They're having themselves, I guess, as good of a time as they can. Probably calling their lawyers and being, oh, rather, you know, I'm not quite sure what the best way to put it is. They're probably making their threats. They're coming through and saying stuff like, well, I'm going to sue you for everything you've got, and the they're minimum security, so they're not really going to be worried maybe about the statute of limitations on any major crime. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing their things. How are we doing on this? We're almost done with this, I think. Or maybe not. Why are we not researching this? Oh, because I have no maintenance guy. That would make the difference. Alright, it means we need to put in a thing for this guy. He's just going to. I imagine he's probably one of those kinds of people that, you stick him in any old office, he's fine. We'll have him claim the office as soon as he can. But, we're actually doing pretty well so far. I mean, we've got what I perceive to be plenty of money. It's a lot more than you would think. We need to definitely lay down some waterworks here, though. That wouldn't be a bad idea. And we need to do the same around here, all around the inside. Really doesn't make any sense to have a shower without water. And I think at this point, we can accept a few more prisoners. They're not rioting just yet. But where are they? Oh, they're in their holding cell. And while we're at this, I'm going to begin routing power up here so we can utilize it. And so we can actually see what we're doing here. So, how are we doing on prisoners? We can probably. We can unlock this one almost immediately, and I think we actually are pretty good for more HUDs in here. At least until we get these guys down, because they do have a disadvantage that they're only worth 50 per HUD, which is rather disturbing. Let's just take a look at we have the warden here. We have grants, workshop safety induction, valuation. We are worth sub 20 grand. And I'm not going to sell stock in that yet. But the prisoners are presently being fed. You know what else would be good to have here eventually? And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it, but it would be good for us to have maybe something along the lines of a it would definitely be good if we had this sort of thing here where we need an electric, or not electric, but a thingy. We need security. I'm forgetting the metal detector. A metal detector is a good thing for us to have. And so we'll put that down because these guys are going to begin probably trying to run off with as much as they can. I just can't seem to find it. Have I been putting down large windows all this time? I hope not. Metal detector, there we go. You know, for now we'll just leave that be. And once this next shipment of prisoners comes through, which is hopefully soon, we'll stem the flow here and we'll begin to, we'll begin to get these guys doing their deal here. And hopefully that won't take too much longer. There's not a real good way though for us to handle that. Visitation rights. We have a common room here. I want to go ahead and with this common room, I want to build a large jail door that will pretty much go here. And we'll put in a TV, maybe, so that even though these guys are going to be going the opposite way, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have one. And then a bookshelf as well so that they can study. So I think our room is going to be good. We almost have all of the phone booths we need. We just need to add one more, I think. But we'll put that out in the yard. They'll have to decide between going out to the yard and, well, I need to slow down. I think we have our shipment of prisoners here. We have 16, so let's cut off the flow of prisoners for now. And I think we're almost, if we go down to our utility here, we're ready to declare most of this open. they are just going to want to set this up so that once this room is complete, and it will be complete here in a bit, maybe we'll have them work in the yard here. But we're going to set this up so that these guys are pretty much going to be able to do their thing. No complaints yet. Let's see what we got. I don't know if we have really anything about psychology here. But we are at 902. And we do have ourselves a fairly decent minimum security prison going. So once these guys are completed, or once we complete getting everything going here, in fact, I'm just about ready to throw these jail doors on this bad boy. I'm again getting people assigned to cells because that way we can get everything queued up. Now we're still making bank on this. This is a profitable prison for us, at least for now, although we may run into power issues soon. Capacity may become a bit of a problem here, but we just need a cop to let us through. And they will put in all of these doors here, and we can now allocate these as cells and get cell block A. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this yet. Looks like somebody decided to bring a spoon with them. But we're back at 20 grand now. Let's just take a look at what we can do with that. I think it's going to be good for us to begin looking at the prison maintenance would be good. Cell block B wouldn't be bad either. I think prison maintenance is going to be good. And just briefly before we end up leaving or finishing this up, I'm just going to install a door here, and we're going to put in our visitation tables as well, which I believe are these guys here. So we will overdo it a bit, but I think that would be fair, as we will now have the visitation grant taken care of, and once all of these prisoners are fed, We will have our visitation room. And I think for that, we'll put a, whoa, not one of those. We'll put a gel door. We may actually have a spare here. But yeah, we can... Oh, there's one more thing we need to do, though. We need to build a telephone booth, which is somewhere around here, I'm sure. A phone booth. We'll just put in 2 more, even though it's not strictly necessary for the grant, because we're going to have prisoners, I'm sure, that will want... oh cool, we got another grant open. Hire a security guard. Cell block B will be our next deal. And that leaves us more or less at at a good point, because these guys will be released, or that's the hope anyhow. And when they're released, they will end up, you know, paving the way for more. Let's just, I guess real quickly, we'll do a, we'll get some of this stuff queued up. It would be really good for us to in fact have as part of bureaucracy. Cleaning clone may be good. We'll get this guy working on contraband. Now I think tax relief is going to be a good thing to have. And that leaves us with education. So our warden is going to be our warden is going to be more or less fed now. So we've got a visitor here, which will be nice. We've also got maybe a little bit more room for other things as well. I think it might not be a bad idea. Let's just take a look and see how long I've done this. I might finish it here, because I am planning on going other places tonight. I just want to get some basic things out of the way. I want to get solitary complete. Just in case we happen to have anything in the way of scuffles here. And we need, probably at this point it wouldn't be a bad idea to have another guard. In fact, I'm going to put 4 here. And we will begin to, we'll begin at this point, I think, to really get things going. I think we've got ourselves a real clockwork prison going on here. I just want to plan for the future. Maybe we can do that by, well, my thought is that, oh, we've already got those solitary units there. My thought is that we'll add in several solitary cells. I'm gonna make the rest of this land that we can, mess with. So I'm gonna cordon this off. And I'm gonna make these into walls, perhaps, where we can maybe have a psychologist on staff. This will be our infirmary, I think. We're going to have to be careful with this infirmary because, as you may have guessed, there are some really nifty things about the infirmary, including the fact that, at least for these prisoners, that the infirmary has a ton of drugs, and they really like that. So we'll have to definitely keep on our toes with the infirmary and do things that we wouldn't normally do. I'm not quite sure what we can do here. I'm not sure if I'm making the best use of this space. If we do this, this may allow them to walk around a little bit, but we would end up with... This could not work. It doesn't seem. So we'll have to... We'll have to do another small cell block like this, probably, in order for us to get this thing going. And that would allow us to basically get these guys going up here. But I think this will give us the opportunity to add in quite a number of different amenities that we would otherwise want. And so we've got here, for instance, we're just going to have these along the back wall, probably. I think that as long as we really think about what we're doing here, because we will, we'll undoubtedly want as many cells occupied as possible. This is how we're making money. And we'll just leave it at that, even though that's not the best deal going on. We will just have our prisoners, just sort of chill out here. Now, what could be here? Maybe we could put a cleaning closet there. Let's see, we get 6 out of that. There may not be much we can do here to make that more efficient. Except maybe something a little bit like this. And you know what we usually do in this case? We could put solitary rooms. And that will be a little bit bigger than usual, but that will give us, let's see, how many different deals, how many different cells. Well, we're already going to have, it looks like 5, 11, 16, 22, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be 16 plus that 22, so that would be 38 and then 41. We're still a little bit. Well, we've already got 16. That'll give us cell block B, but that will be for perhaps another time, just to see our handiwork. And man, this thing is filling up quite fast, isn't it? This is what we've got so far. So we'll queue up, I guess, since we have the money. And then I'm really done this time. We will queue up some more capacitors here. And with that having been done, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I will see you next time.